Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Jedaniah. All praises and glory goes to the Most High Yahuah in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Brothers and sisters, there is still so much for us to bear witness to and understand in history. And this is just another documentary here that I want y'all to go check out. I'm going to leave a link to this video in the description box. But I'm going to play just a little bit of it. And you're going to see that the people in Kenya look like us. And they too went into harsh, cruel slavery and captivity by the colonizers. And they are even called terrorists. At about 8 minutes in to the video, the colonizers call them terrorists who want them out of their lands. There was an uprising of the group called the Mau Mau, and they wanted these white folks out of their land because of the cruelty and the treatment of them. And they lived it up in Kenya through their colonization, and they had it good. And they called them the terrorists, the very people who've been living in that land for centuries before the white man got there. Now listen, there's so much truth that needs to be revealed to us, Zion, about all the horrors of the other 12 tribes, where are the other children of Yahudah and the 12 tribes that are scattered throughout Africa. You need to do a lot of homework and discover what the colonizers did to them over there as well, and stop looking at yourselves over here in America as being the only ones that suffer harsh, cruel slavery and captivity by a fierce, cruel nation the Most High sent against us to punish us. That was their job, but they took it too far, as they still do to this day, and they look down on us. I'm reading down here in some of the comment sections, and you got our own people who was with the colonists here. When you get to this video, you can read it yourself. And then you got people who said that we should be grateful to the white man. It was the white man's burden to civilize these poor blacks. Who said we needed civilizing? Who said we needed your help? Who said we needed you, period, in the world, when all you do is bring oppression, deception, lying, killing, distilling, and then when we rise up against you, you call us the terrorist. You know, I see a whole lot of comments here, and it sickens me how a lot of the colonists behave and act to this day when we bring out their crimes against humanity, against everyone in the world. When we bring out their doings against us, it does sicken me, and I'm so sick and tired of. I cry out to the Most High to save us out of their hands, because He is the true end-time justice against these end-time destroyers who have went out into the world with their wickedness. They are totally different than us. We are not the savages here. We are not the barbarians. We did not go into their lands, colonize it, take it over, and oppress them, lie, cheat, steal, take up all the property, and force them into cheap labor, or even no labor at all. I mean, no money at all. Force them into slavery. I cry out on a regular basis to the Most High to save us out of these brutes' hands, and they dare call us the terrorists. You know why the Arabs have been cut loose? The Most High cut them loose against them because of their pride and their arrogance and their self-righteousness. They have lifted themselves up as Lucifer has lifted himself up in his pride, arrogance against the Most High. And so have they. I tell you, if you do not come away from these people and their religion, you will fall with them. The Most High sent the rider on the white horse out to destroy, to kill, to be the end time destroyers, that the Messiah may come and take the kingdoms with the Most High's mighty hand and stretched out arm, including the two witnesses, might I add. So just as the Most High allowed Pharaoh to be lifted up in a strong power so that he can take them down while he was killing and destroying his people, the same thing's happening but on a worldwide scale. It's just that these Caucasian colonizers have done just about the worst to us. But it doesn't mean that the rest of the world isn't innocent in their treatment of us as well. So go discover this history. And if you are Caucasian, you better wake up and repent of your people as well, and beg out and cry to the Most High for forgiveness. And maybe you will find some favor by the Most High. But I'm sick of it. And I'm just to play some of this, but go watch the whole thing.
In 1952, the British colony of Kenya was thrown into crisis by a gang of freedom fighters called Mau Mau. They vowed to free Kenya from colonialism at any cost. Their name became a byword for savagery because of the way they butchered their victims.
You could hear them shouting it as they went in, cut, 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 and they would just slash. Yeah, so that they would slash anybody.
Atemire ni hari umwe watemire ucio wajitire kanyamu gatwana atemire agicoka akigirithia ruhiũ rũu nyeki uguo thakame uguo.
Though many Africans would die at the hands of Mau Mau, it was the murder of whites that horrified the outside world. To the British, the uprising was such an outrageous attack on colonialism that it justified any response. And that response, when it came, would be brutal and shocking. In the early 1950s, Kenya shone out as one of the last jewels in Britain's colonial crown. The European settlers farmed Kenya's richest soil in an area that had become known as the White Highlands. Over 2 generations, they had built themselves a life of luxury. It seemed as if the good life would go on forever.
The white settlers lived the English-style life. They had their farms. They had lots of servants serving at table. It all appeared to be terribly rich, terribly posh, and absolutely remote from the life of the ordinary African.
The ordinary settler really enjoyed being in Kenya. It was a good life. I mean, let's face it, to be rather blunt, you could get servants, and booze was cheap. The Europeans took the view that they were doing the Africans a great favour by being in Kenya. We're jolly good chaps, you know, and you're very lucky to have us here. They were third or fifth class citizens compared to the Europeans. It wasn't racist. It was just, a fact of life.
Now, do you understand how they think? Just the way of life. Wait till the Most High return, Zion. He is your recompense. He is your repayment. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.